In this short video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to bring in a neutral step file into SolidWorks Composer. First thing we want to do is read our file in. To do that, we're going to go to File, Open, and we'll navigate to where our step file is located. I want to make sure file types is set to all authorized 3D files, so that way I can actually see my step file. And then down here where it says Import Profile, I'm going to go ahead and choose the default profile called Step, and then we'll hit OK. What this does is it uses the SolidWorks converter to convert that step file into the native Composer file. First thing I want to do is I want to get this aligned the correct way, so I'm going to make sure this whole assembly is going up and down. To do that, over here you'll see this option called vertical axis. We'll left click on it and we're going to choose the Y positive axis. That puts the Y going up and down, so that way my assembly is up and down. Next thing we're going to do is I'm going to come over here to the Render tab and I'm going to turn off the grid foot. So I'm going to uncheck mark grid. Now I want my background to be completely white, so you'll see this background color is already set to white, but I also want to set the foot color to white. So I'm going to left click on the little color icon and I'm going to choose the white background. Now you'll notice that currently there's a little emblem down here. In my default template I have the Dassault products emblem. I'm going to turn that off for this example. To do that, I'm going to come up to this collaboration tab and choose the option called ground. When I choose ground, this gives you the ability to remove or even add new emblems that would be sitting on the bottom of your preview. In this case, it's set under ground texture. I'm going to backspace through that ground texture so that way there is no more image down there. Now I do want the shadow turned on, so I'm going to come up here to the Render tab and I'm going to choose shadow. And I'm going to go back to ground and I'm going to change the shadow to a little bit softer shadow. So I'm going to slide this roll bar all the way to the right. So that way it's more of a distorted shadow as opposed to a definite shadow. Next thing I want to do is I want to get the view of this the way that I like. To do that, I typically use the mode called Smooth with Outline. That smooths out the image and it also puts hard edges anywhere there is a visible edge. I like to change the output style to Smart Outlines. That way it kind of just gives it more realistic rendering and not putting a hard edge everywhere there's tangency. Now I want to make this a little bit softer, so in that same render image, if you come over here to mode, you'll see some different default modes that have to do with the lighting. In this case, I'm going to use a soft light. So I'm going to choose mode 1, which is soft, which kind of just lightens up the directional light that's being focused on this little image. Now the last thing I want to do is I want to make some of these components pop out of this render a little bit better. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select this little hydraulic line. When I select that hydraulic line, over here on the left you'll see the properties, and I'm going to choose the color option and change that hydraulic line to be black. I'm also going to make the shininess a little bit less, so that way it's not as solid of a color. Next thing I want to do is I'm going to show you how to use some of the default render options. So in this case I'm going to choose this little motor. And this motor over here where it says environment effect, I'm going to use a gold. So that way it shows this hydraulic line is going from this motor down to this little hydraulic piston. Same thing down here, I'm going to go select that member and I'll make that environment effect gold also. Just making it pop off the screen a little bit, showing the end user where this hydraulic line is supposed to go to and from. Once I have the image the way I like, you'll go over here to the Views tab and you want to capture this as a snapshot. So we'll say Create View, and it creates a new view, and I like to rename these guys. I'm going to call this Home. Once I have my image the way that I like, I want to go ahead and render this out as a high-res image, a PNG file to be exact. To do that, I'm going to use my Workshops tab. In this Workshops tab, you'll see an option called High-Res Image. When you check High-Res Image, over here, this is where you'll see all your options. In my case, I'm going to use a DPI set of 300. I'm going to use auto for the pixels of the width and height, so it's about 3500 by 2500. And I'm going to turn off alpha channel. And I'm going to make sure that my setting is set all the way to high. And we'll hit Save As. In this case, I'm going to save this out as a PNG file. And we'll give it a name, and we'll hit Save. If I wanted to save this out as a different file type, for example, JPEG, right, all you got to do is choose the different file type right here and hit Save on that one also. Now let's go take a look at the image we just created. So over here, here's my PNG file. I'll double click to open it up so you can see what I have. So here you'll see a nice light, soft shadow with a very clean, crisp image of my motors that are in gold and then the hydraulic line that is in black. That's our short tutorial today, bringing in a step file. I hope to catch you on the next one. Thank you.